Hi everybody, welcome to Mitch Maths. My name is Mitch and this video is going to be all about proportion. So proportion is when we have amounts that increase or decrease altogether, and it's very similar to ratios, which I covered in my previous video. So I'll recommend going and watching that one as well. Then by the end of it you'll know all about ratios, and then you can come and watch this one and you can learn all about proportion as well. So it should be quite a short video, this one, because there isn't too much to go over. But there's one rule that you must remember for all of these questions involving proportion, and that is you must always divide to get 1, or divide for one part, and then you must multiply for all the parts. So it's, as you can see, it's very similar to our ratios questions where you divide for one part, then multiply for all the parts. And I'll show you now some examples of how we put this into practice. Okay, so let's go over our first example then of proportion. And this example says, so 7 kilograms of rice cost £5.60. How much is 4 kilograms? Okay, so we know that 7 kilograms is £5.60. Well, how much is 4 kilos? So if we remember our rule, we want to divide for one part, then multiply for all the parts. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to find out how much 1 kilo costs. Then once we do that, we can then multiply it by 4 to get how much 4 kilo costs. Okay, so we know that 7 equals 560. So we want to first find out how much 1 costs. So if 7 equals 560, then 1, what we have to do is divide 560 by 7. Okay, so if we do that, 560 divided by 7 will give us 80p, or if we divided 5.6 divided by 7, it would give us 0.8. Okay, so that now we have our one part, we can now just multiply this to find however many we want to. And in this case, we want to find 4 kilograms. So what we must now do to find 4 kilos, so we want to times this by 4, and that will give us 3.2, or in this case, it will be £3.20. Okay, and that is it, and that is all there is to it. We just divide to get 1, then multiply for however many we are asked for. Okay, and there we go, following the rule, divide for 1, multiply to get your answer. Okay, so here's another example then of a proportion question. This one might look a little bit more complicated, but it really isn't. So here we have a recipe. So this is a recipe for a smoothie. So this one serves 5 people, this recipe, okay? And here we have our ingredients. So we have 300 grams of banana, 450 milliliters of yogurt, and then 200 grams of strawberries, okay? And this serves 5 people. So if we had a question that said something like, how many bananas, or how much banana do we need for a recipe for 12 people? Okay, all we have to do is remember our rule, and that is to divide for 1 and then multiply for however many we need. Okay, so let's do that with bananas then. So how much banana do we want? Okay, so that is our question. So what we want to do is we want to take our 300 grams for banana. We know that serves 5 people. So we want to divide this to find out how much we need for 1 person. Okay, so what we would do is we go 300 divided by 5. Okay, if we're unsure what that is, we can put that in our calculator. Okay, so 60 grams for 1 person, right? So now for 12 people, all we do is times that by 12. So we times this by 12. That gives us 720 grams. Okay, and there we go. That is how much banana we would need for 12 people based from this recipe. Okay, it's as easy as that. It's still exactly the same thing. Divide to get 1, how much for 1 person, and then multiply to get for how many people we want. Okay? So a slightly different variation of this sort of question then could be something like, so if you had 120 grams of strawberries, okay, how many people does this serve? Okay, so we know that 5 people, we need 200 grams of strawberries. We've got 120 grams. How many does that serve? Okay, so and again, we will do the exact same thing. So what we'll do is we take our recipe, so we'll work out how many of this is for one person. Okay, so we'll take our 200 and we'll divide this by 5 because 200 grams of strawberries is for 5 people. So we're going to find out how many strawberries we need for one person. Okay, so 200 divided by 5 gives us 40. Okay, so we need 40 grams for one person, and we've got 120 grams. Okay, so now what we do is to find out how many people 120 grams can serve, we'll divide 120 by 40. Okay, so 120 divided by 40, that gives us 3. So that means that because 40 goes into 120 3 times, this 120 grams of strawberries will serve 3 people. Okay, and that is it. Again, it is very, very similar to before. We're just dividing it to find out how much we need for one person, and then we'll see what quantity we have, and then we'll divide that by our total for one person to get how many people this can serve. Okay, again, it's very similar to divide it to get 1, then rather than multiplying it to get them all, we'll just divide it by how much we've got to get the number of servings. Okay, I really hope all of that made sense, guys. Remember, all of these variations of questions, there really aren't that many, but every single time you need to divide to get the quantities for one person, and then you need to work out whether you either need to multiply it up to get your quantities for however many servings you need, or you then divide it by how much of the stuff that you do have to find out how many portions you can serve. Okay, I really hope that made sense, guys. Again, it's very similar to my ratios video, so if you haven't seen that one, then I recommend going and watching that one as well. If you enjoyed this video, then go and check out Mitch Maths for more GCSE maths videos. And if you like this one, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.